Hello everybody, welcome to That's Football. I'm Mark Goldbridge, and Pep Guardiola looks like he's staying at Manchester City. Shocking. Surely not. Well, apparently so. In fact, many outlets this morning are talking about this, and it seems to have come from a report from Football Insider who are saying that Pep Guardiola's deal is 99% done. So I think we can safely say that if there's any truth in this, we are going to get an announcement that Pep Guardiola will stay at Manchester City for at least another year. The talk of the deal is that obviously it's up at the end of this season, and I think that has been a big factor in Manchester City. But this new contract will be for a further year. What ramifications does that have for the 115? What ramifications does that have for the rest of the Premier League and Manchester City's future? And why would it only be another year? We'll get into that, but what are your comments on this? Look, I think Man City had to do something. In fact, if we hadn't had all the David Coote and VAR stuff last week, I actually had a video lined up to talk about Man City must do something around Pep Guardiola, because having seen this situation with Jurgen Klopp last year, but experienced it about 20 years ago with Sir Alex when he did actually announce he was going to leave Manchester United in the early noughties, and United just didn't do very well. And then suddenly he said, look, I'm not going, and then things changed again. There is this uncertainty angle with players that consistently seems to happen throughout football history, where a manager's in his final year of his contract and results can start to suffer. Now, I don't think that's the only reason that Man City are suffering at the moment. There's been talk of dressing room issues. There's been talk about instability at the club, but they do have a massive court case. They have just lost their Ballon d'Or winning best player, in my opinion, who when he doesn't play, they don't tend to win, Rodri. There are other reasons for Man City. It is a very competitive league this season as well. So Man City, it's not just because of Pep Guardiola, but with all the uncertainty, and then the guy that's built the successful era able to walk away at the end of the season, I think that was something that was under Man City's control. The court case isn't, the Rodri injury isn't, but Pep Guardiola's situation potentially is. And with Amorim going to Manchester United as well, I think with Amorim's director of football going to Man City, there was a very logical history repeating itself where Begiristain went as director of football as Pep's ally before Pep came in as the manager to do the groundwork. It looked like Man City were doing it again with Hugo Viana of Sporting going as the sporting director of Man City, and then Amorim in the summer. That can't happen now. So I think Man City have had a lot of upheaval at the start of this season, and I think that with no identifiable replacement for Pep Guardiola next summer, because I genuinely do think it was Amorim, then Man City are stuck in this situation where all this uncertainty, all these bad results for them, they're not great results, and Pep leaving in the summer, 115, the manager they probably wanted and probably not, well, is not available now. The biggest thing they can do to solve all their problems is make Pep not go in the summer, which might help them start getting more results, which might make the players feel more stable and the club feel more stable. They couldn't let it drift, is what I'm trying to say. Something had to give. They can't leave this situation where the whole world is expecting Pep Guardiola to go at the end of the season, and let's just pretend it's not happening and let's just leave it. There either needed to be a statement that he is going or a new contract. And I think the contract being a year is interesting, though, because I think that will have more holes in it than a hedgehog's lilo. I really do think that doesn't mean he's staying for another year. I think that is a holding statement. I think that is treading water. I think if Pep Guardiola signs for another year, everyone will go, well, he's not leaving at the end of the season. Oh, Man City have got some stability back. And then what I think happens is next year you're in the same situation again. So I don't think it's the perfect. I think this is a conversation that benefits Pep and benefits Man City. And I think what they've basically said is, look, you're probably still going to go in the summer, but if we give you another year, then, and it's got a few loopholes in it, we can say to the world that you're not going in the summer, look, because you've signed a new contract, and it just takes away all this instability that is obviously damaging the team at the moment. Because it's not actually going to make a massive amount of difference if Pep Guardiola signs for another year, because all it does is people can't say he's going at the end of the season, and it buys you that time. But I think once the season's over and then you're back in the situation of another year, I wouldn't be surprised if, well, we know he signed for another year, but there was a bolt hole if either party didn't want to continue, so he is actually going to go now. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's in there. Also, I would expect that there will be some sort of clause in there for if they get found guilty and relegated, that Pep can walk away. Much the same as I think Erling Haaland's new contract will probably have something like that as well. So I think it's intelligent. I think it's the right thing to do. They've got to try and steady the ship with the things they can control, and they can control that. It's in Pep's interest, if he wants to win the Premier League or the Champions League, to calm things down. And the best way to do that is I'm staying for another year. And then if in May you want to go, you can just say I'm going. And, you know, the stability doesn't matter anymore because it's the summer. So I think it's absolutely logical and intelligent to do it. And I don't think it makes a massive amount of difference to the actual situation of where Man City might be heading at the end of the season. Because a one-year deal doesn't really commit beyond, let's just get this season out of the way. And I think that's what Man City want to do. They want to just try and control as much as they can and provide that stability. But I still think Pep will probably go in the summer. I do. And even if he doesn't, you know, what's a one-year contract? He's obviously running out of energy for the job. The question is going to be, where are Man City at the end of the season? Can he turn the ship around? I'd still say they're probably favourites for the league. I think everybody would. What's going to happen with the court case? How are they going to deal if Pep did go next summer? Who would come in and replace him? There's not really any massive candidates out there. I mean, there are some good coaches out there, but I mean, I think Xabi Alonso is going to Real Madrid. So I don't even know where Man City would go next anyway. So era's come to an end, as a manager once said. And I think that this is the beginning of the end for Pep. And I suspect that this may actually just be a bit of a plaster over the wound, so people stop talk about him going at the end of the season. There we go. But yeah, get your comments in below. What are your thoughts on it? Apparently, it's going to get announced in the next few days or weeks. It's 99% done that he will sign a year extension. It's not long term, so it's. I'm sure some people will think, oh yeah, this solves the problem, etc. But I don't. I think it just solves a problem that's there in front of them now. As I say, and I still think he probably will go in the summer, because otherwise you're in exactly the same situation next year. And you can't. It's like having a player in their 30s who just keeps getting a rolling contract every 12 months. I mean, Pep Guardiola's better than a rolling contract. You give a player in their 30s a rolling contract because you're worried about when the decline's coming. I mean, Pep Guardiola, I'm sure Man City would give him a 10-year contract if he wanted it. So it's obviously coming from the manager's side, isn't it? And he doesn't want to commit long term. Get your comments in. Make sure you smash a like on the video. Also, just a reminder of our charity stream. You can scan the QR code, which is next to me there, and donate. We raised £40,000 on this channel yesterday in 12 hours for people with terminal illness. You can still donate by scanning the QR code or going through the link in the description. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll speak to you on the next one. Take care. Please smash a like and subscribe. Fantastic community, and we proved that yesterday. Get involved. Subscribe to the channel. I'll speak to you all in a bit.